Hey everyone, I am going to be doing a flip through of my Hobonichi Weeks. This is what I use as my planner. I did not get to do a full detailed flip through in my last video, so I thought I'd take care of that today and then talk about how I use this for planning. I am a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool my kids, so I come at planning from that perspective. I also want to show my most favorite tools that I use for planning in here. So in the last video, I talked about this cover. This is actually that bright green Mega Weeks, and I just ended up covering it with some fabric from an old curtain I had, and I used PVA glue to glue it down, and it's made me quite happy. So I don't have any decoration on the inside, like end papers here, which is odd for me. Every single year I'm always like covering this up, but I just couldn't be bothered this year, I suppose. I have a bunch of these page flags here. These are my most favorite ones that I've used, and I got them from Amazon. Everything will be linked below. You get a ton in just one order of these, and they look like this. I keep everything in my Yuruliku pouch, and my page flags are here. Oh, they're bent, but they look like this. I think you get like 5 of these, and it's gonna bother me. Okay. And they're never ending. So this is what I use. I keep it in here, but in case I don't want to pull this out, I have a bunch just right here on the inside cover, and I love how small they are. I like that they're white. They kind of blend in. They're not, in your face. So I've been really, really happy with those. So I don't use this spread at all. And this spread I actually use for tracking. So tracking is a weird thing for me. Generally, I hate it because it always ends up feeling like busy work. And so it's one of the first things that falls off when I feel overwhelmed, or I feel like I am just doing busy work and I want to get rid of all the fluff. So I'm tracking 2 things. I just have them covered up here because they're kind of personal. But tracking has to provide me with something. It has to provide me with really important insight and information. As soon as it doesn't, then I stop doing it. So for this, I need to know how frequently like this one thing happens. And if there's too much of a gap, then the second thing has to happen. So I just want to track the relationship between those 2 things because I don't want any of these issues to escalate. So those 2 things, they've kind of become a non-negotiable. I have to track those, but I find it very, very helpful to know the pattern of these 2 things. So that's all I'm tracking in here. And there's really not much room to do much more tracking on this spread anyway. So any other tracking that I attempt to do will be in the back notes pages. So I actually start all my planners in January. I like a full calendar year. So this is January, and I've said time and time again that I use the monthly spread for anything scheduled, so appointments and activities. And I would say that this is probably the most important spread to me, that if I really, really had to pare down, if I could just have a monthly view and a planner that only had monthlies in it, I could survive. I would be okay, and my life would run semi-smoothly. So that's what these monthlies are, just timed events. The other thing I do is I use my Deco rush tapes. I have a bunch here. So I have like a YouTube one, a grocery one, birthday, and then this is just a random botanical one. These are available in a lot of different shops, but they tend to go in and out of stock. So they change the icons frequently, I guess with seasons or something. So I don't even know if any of these are readily available anymore, but these are what I use in the monthlies because since they're not stickers, they're really nice and flat and it helps alleviate the bulk. But at this point, I don't even think that's a big deal for me anymore because I'm obviously layering lots of decor and stickers and things, so whatever. But I have them, so I'm using them, and I love the way that they fit in these boxes. I always put them in the bottom right corner and they fill up, you know, 4 little squares there. So on this month, I just used the birthday one. I just had one birthday there. And here I have 2 more birthdays. And what I do is, like, there's a birthday on the 8th. So I'll come into the margin, write 8, and then write the name of whose birthday that is. So the same for the 22nd. That's what I ended up doing right there. And the video one is obviously for when I put up a YouTube video like I have here. And then the shopping cart one, I used to use this in the monthlies and then write the date at the bottom and the amount I spent on grocery shopping that day. But I'm trying something new, so I haven't been using this one in the monthlies just yet. So I'll reserve the right to go back to that if I need to. The botanical one is for anything else besides birthdays. So anniversaries, like if somebody has something important coming up, weddings, that kind of thing, I will use this to notate that. So I obviously haven't decorated March, but here's February. So I initially anticipated that I was going to keep my planner looking very simple inside, meaning very minimal decor. And I mentioned this in my last video as well, but what ended up happening was I really streamlined my whole planner and journal system. So I have one planner, one journal, and that just gave me much more time to be in these 2 books. And what I found is when I wanted a creative outlet, I would just do it in one of the 2 books that I'm using. So I ended up decorating each month so far, but I do it when I have the time and the inclination to be creative. So it's already March, but this isn't decorated yet. So I'll probably do this sometime in the next week whenever I have downtime and I feel like taking out my stamps and stickers and things. So I don't have pressure to get things set up before like the 1st of the month or anything like that. And I think just being kind of fluid with things makes it more pleasant to be in, you know, this Hobonichi Weeks and to work in here, because the most important thing are the scheduling. So knowing where I have to be, when I have to be there is the most important, which is why that's all that's written on here right now. So the decoration will come when it comes. Otherwise, you know, this is really all I need to be, you know, a functioning member of society. Let's see. So what I do when I first get the weeks before the year starts, I'll go through every single month and mark all the birthdays or other events with these Deco Rush tapes and fill them in the margin. And then as I approach the month, I'll start filling in all of the appointments, and then after that, decor will come. So like here, I used a botanical. It doesn't occur that often, but I like having it on the off chance that I need it. So there's another botanical there. It's my parents' anniversary, and that's as far as I've gotten. And then as far as the weeks go, this was not really the first week that I used it. January 1st was the last day of this week. So I kind of just started playing around in here. And then after the fact, I had these cut out pieces of ephemera and I ended up sticking them down just to fill up the space. But my first official week in here was this week. And again, I surprised myself because I didn't think that I was going to have this much decor. So what I end up doing is all of the appointment times from the monthlies, those get migrated over first, and they're the first things that get put in this weekly section. And then on the right, I kind of divide it up into several sections. It depends on the week and how busy I am, what sections I choose to use, but it's typically these three. Since I started this planner, these are the three that I've been gravitating towards, and not even always a menu, because recently I've just been putting a menu on our fridge and I haven't been having it in here, and I've been finding that that's been working well. So the right side has been dominated with just tasks that are kind of one-off tasks that need to be worked in at some point during the week. And then I'll have a daily task section. So these are things that mostly need to be done daily. You know, I have homeschooling on here, but obviously we don't do that on Saturdays or Sundays. So I find that really works well for me. And when I start filling this out, I prioritize the space for the writing. So even though there's decoration on here, I don't preemptively decorate. So at the end of the week, when I see that there's empty spaces, I'll go in and put down stickers or washi or PET tape or whatever it is, and it'll just complete the week for me, because I do want to save the space for writing things in, for writing tasks and for making notes. One of the things that I do is I use an asterisk anytime that there is additional notes in the notes pages. So I'll put an asterisk and then I'll write the topic, and I'll know that I need to go back in here and I will be able to get all the details about that. And then otherwise, everything else are just random tasks that I accomplished that day. If I do one strike through, that means that got done. If it's a double strike through, it means that it got canceled or I just didn't get to do it that day. I have also been using my Crayola Supertips. I mentioned this before as well. I got them so long ago, like years ago, and I've had to throw half of them out over the years because they've been like growing things or they've dried up. And I'm surprised that I have so many left still. I got like 100 pack, and I think, you know, I've got 50 left now, and they're still going strong. So any of the colored writing that you see in here are with Crayola Supertips, a little bit with the Sailor Shikiori markers, but I just love the color range and color variation of Crayola Supertips. You get so much variety for such a cheap price. So I've really been enjoying that. And I've just been using my stash. Like, this is washi tape that I got from Patreon. This was a sticker sheet. This is PET tape. This was a die cut sticker from forever ago. This was actually tracing paper. It was like a tracing paper strip. And this is Kita washi tape. So I just pull out everything and have fun. I have so much fun in here because once I get all the tasks down and write everything in and get my appointments in, I don't really spend that much time in here. You know, it might be like a quick reference just to make sure, like, okay, I get what I need to do for the day. But otherwise, I have so much extra time to be able to just sit here and decorate and spend time doing markers and lettering and that kind of thing. So I've really fallen into a good rhythm with this. And this was like crazy. It was a hodgepodge of everything. In my daily section here, I have these dots next to it because I thought I might try to mark it for every time I accomplish those things. And then that felt like it was redundant and it started feeling like busy work. I mean, like after I did it just one time. So I quit doing that. It's just not something I need to track. And, you know, I wanted to try it out and it confirmed that it was something that I just don't want to do. So then here is when I started keeping meals off, and my meal lists weren't comprehensive as well. They were like, my heart wasn't in it to be very precise or complete about it. So I left it off, and this is kind of when I started just putting it on my fridge and not having to worry about it in here. And I had left all this space to put it, and I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just try like something new this week and not put it there. So I filled it up at the end of the week with some stickers that I've had. I have had these probably since 2018 when I was like huge into mushrooms. But otherwise, I'll come in here and fill in space, not only with stickers and stuff, but with lettering, even some memories, you know, like we had to go to the ER that day. And of course, like this is always what happens. My husband had to go away for work this whole week. So he left on Monday. And then of course, I had to go to the ER and take a kid there because my kid cut her finger open and I could see her bone. And I was like, all right, I think I can't take care of that with a Band-Aid. So let's go. And we went to an urgent care. I just try to avoid the ER as much as possible. And I went to an ER and I told him what was up. And she turned me right around and she was like, no, ma'am, you need to go next door and go to the ER and let them handle that. So we did that. So that was like the first day my husband was gone, and then he called to check up on us. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to the ER. Everything turned out fine though. They stitched it right up, and you know, now she's got a scar that she's proud of. So that's good. But yeah, so I will put, you know, random memories or something like that in here if I feel like it and I want to take up space. I keep memories for my journal mostly is where I like to put those. But I'm not opposed to putting a memory or two in my weeks if I have the space. This is my least favorite spread. I was just kind of like throwing stuff down. I didn't really like the lettering I had chosen. But again, it was fun to do. And I even pulled out some planner stickers. Is this one nope, like back here. These are aging as well. And they're from different shops on Etsy. And I originally got them when I got my Nolty planner, I think in like 2020. And I've just never had a reason to use them since then. And so I started trying to incorporate them a little more in here since this is my planner. But whenever I write tasks, I don't generally like to put an icon sticker to go along with it. That just feels redundant to me. It works so much better for memory keeping in my Nolty. And that's what I bought them for. But in an effort to use up some things, I decided to see if I could incorporate them regularly in here. I think I kind of fell off of it. But like here are some more. I do laundry daily. A few years ago, I adopted laundry as part of a daily task. It's part of my daily chores, just like doing the dishes at night and like putting my kitchen to bed. I do laundry daily as well. And that includes washing a load, drying a load, and folding and putting away a load. And that, I don't know why we have so much laundry, but we do. And it keeps it so that there's no buildup. I don't have to like spend a whole day doing laundry or anything like that. And everybody's caught up. Nobody's like looking for this item or that item, and you know, because it's like buried at the bottom of the basket or something. So that's pretty automatic for me. And I love these icons. Oh, the menu came back this week, but it's not like a full 7 meals. Cause like when I menu plan, I like to do 7 dinners, and it's kind of a free for all for breakfast and lunch, or it's like leftovers and stuff. It's stuff that I just don't really have to plan out. It's mostly the dinners that I'm like care about and that I'm responsible for. But I don't know, maybe our shopping got off a little bit. Oh, but here, yeah, here, my appointment times are much more bold because I found that the way that I was doing it with just the pen, I felt like it still blended in with everything. And I still want my appointments to pop because, again, that's the most important thing. So I, amongst the Crayola Supertips, also found just a random Crayola, I don't know, washable marker. I mean, it's just, you know, your felt tip. It has no give. Anyway, this is almost dried up, but I'm using it anyway. And I decided to use this just to put the times in. And I love that because I think they pop out to my eye now. So I'll use this till it dies and then figure something else out. I don't know. But I do love that I started doing that. Playing around with the headers. I actually got really into doing this little ribbon background behind my lettering. And I find that I've got like 5 Tombow markers that are also incredibly geriatric, but those that I have left plus the Sailor Shikiori give me the best thickness of line. My Crayola Supertips are too thin, even on their thickest side, to give me a pleasant looking line or a pleasant looking ribbon like that. So I've been using my Tombows plus the Sailor Shikioris to do this. And I mean, as you can see, I'm just loving it. I don't know why I haven't been doing it before now, but totally loving that. And let me see. I think this is when I started, getting back off the menu. Yeah, it's like I kind of half-heartedly brought it back there. And then I was like, whatever, it's just staying on the fridge. Here is the current week. So yeah, basically by the end of this week, I will start planning and filling out the next week. Sometimes it can happen on Sunday. Sometimes it happens on Monday or even Tuesday. Because again, I just really need the monthlies. Because the bare bones of it is that I just need to know where I need to be. So I don't have like a huge pressure to set up the weekly, as long as I can come here and see just where I need to be. And then at some point I'll come in here and fill everything out. But I will take you along. Like this week, I have a note that says film all week. I probably shouldn't even show this because, you know, don't talk about something until after you do it. But, you know, I'm just going to kind of bring you along with me throughout the week as I work in here and just kind of show you in real life how this works for me. I do have these tabs up at the top. I've mentioned these before. I've got 3. The first one goes to the current month. The second one goes to the current week. And the third one goes to the next available notes page in the back. These are the Midori index clips. I've been using them for years. Mine have gotten real good patina. They're looking real grungy. These are like the orange ones, but they're very like coppery, brassy. I don't know why they call them orange. But that brings us to the notes section. So I'll briefly recap. I just use the notes section to record really messy notes. It's mostly when I'm on phone calls and I want to jot notes down from that. And it's an information landfill. Since this is a mega, I kind of have split this up into 3 different sections. So the messy notes section is like the first third. And that's where these, you know, little tabs start coming in. So this middle section is for more neatly written and organized master lists, like tasks or, you know, just random lists, because I have like a food list here too. But I mentioned this before, I have a declutter list, and as I go through each week, I like to pick something from here, an area in our house to declutter, and I'll just cross it off once I'm done. And within this middle section, I also am going to start keeping track of our fuel expenses every month. So our budget is like $400 a month. My husband has an absolutely atrocious commute. And it's always our goal when we move that we get a place that's close to his work. And we kind of got screwed on that. And he got shifted to a completely different area after we had already rented this house. So he will literally have an hour to 2 hour commute just one way. And we have one car that's okay with fuel, and then we have the biggest gas guzzling truck, and we have it because we have a camper, and so it kind of goes with the camper. But anyway, our budget's $400. So as we get fuel, I want to make sure that that's correct, and just to see if we can get under that. Obviously, I'm very, very into being frugal and into finances right now. And I mean, you know, like the economy is just kind of twisting my arm about it, right? So this is sort of my new obsession. I'm just making it my new obsession because I'm not buying things, especially not for stationery or anything related to this hobby. I am fully invested in a no spend or a low spend. I want to save anything that I want for special occasions, like for Mother's Day, for my birthday or something like that. It's like, there's always this instant gratification. If I wanted something, I would just buy it. And so it like left nothing special for a gift, like for all of these occasions, you know? And I was like, why don't I just give myself that back again? So it makes it more exciting for me. So in the meantime, I can't be like obsessing over like setting up a new system and buying all the things and all the books and covers and accessories for it. So my obsession is now going into money. Yeah, so I'm going to be tracking that for March, and I think I can fit the whole rest of the year on this spread. And yeah, I want to be enlightened and informed about the fuel habits. And in the same vein, so this one has, you know, fuel marked on a tab there, and then this one is for groceries. This also, so our budget, we're a family of 4, and my monthly grocery budget is $800. We could easily go over that. And I do want to bring it down, but I'm just trying to get a good starting place, right? So yeah, so I've already shopped once this month. And so I'm just going to keep it all going, keep it all tracking, adjust as I need to. If I can go down on this budget, that would be amazing. So as I develop my skills in like finding sales and creating meal plans around the sale items I'm able to get and just honing that skill, I hope to see improvement with this over the year. I have a last tab here. It goes to the 3rd section, but I'm not utilizing that yet, but I have it cordoned off so that I don't use it for anything else. So in the back, the last couple of pages, which I'm definitely not going to show, I have all of the places that my family frequents as far as dentist office, any specialists, doctors, pediatricians, pharmacies we go to, and I have the name of the place, their full address, their phone number, their fax number, and it's all here, easy for me to find and to give to anybody. We've moved a lot in the last several years, and it's just so helpful to have this information on hand when I have to fill out paperwork at a brand new place. So all of these pages back here, I don't use them. You know, if I could, I would just have these as additional notes pages. I know these are well loved. A lot of people, you know, do love using these. But I always just ignore them, use them for like some pen tests and stuff. But that is everything about how I use the Hobonichi Weeks for planning. You know, it's it's not earth shattering. And if you've seen any of my previous videos about the weeks, it's been the same. I don't deviate much from how I have been using it. But yeah, so then I have my Yuruliku pouch, and this goes with everything. This goes with my weeks for planning, with my journal, and it has everything I need for all of my systems. So I have a bunch of different tabs and post-it notes here. And I use them for various things. It's really great having everything in one place like this. This pouch can hold so much. This is the correction tape that I use in the weeks. It is such a perfect match for this cream paper. I got this from Amazon Japan, and look at that. It's amazing. I love this. And it came in a 2-pack, and I've used this one for, it has to be 2 years now. And it's still going. But I recently found it at Journal Station. So it's probably one of those things that you have to kind of shop around for. But I mean, there's so many different like cream corrector tapes out there. But it is the Plus brand, just like these Deco Rush, you know, so I love that it's the same size as everything, looks cohesive. And all of these tools I use in here mostly. So on these white tabs, I use this fine tipped Sharpie, and I have varying sizes of gel pens here. So like this is a thick one. It's just a Pentel Energel. This is a Uniball One, and this is in the 0.38. I used to use 0.5, and I find that I'm preferring the finer tip now in the weeks. And then this is like a 0.3, a 0.3. This one's really, really thin, and I like this one in particular for outlining. So like I used it here to outline tasks, but like when I outlined this one, it was with my thick one here, this one, the Energel. So when I want a finer line, then that's what I use the 0.3 for. And then I have this to write the dates in bold. And then I have this random Crayola Supertip in here because this is the color I'm using in my Bible journaling. I have a separate notebook for that. I don't know if I'll ever show it, but because I use this pouch for all of my systems, everything I could possibly need is already in here. This is a ruler. I just recently got it because it's from Curated Monotony, and I think I'm about done. I got like a year of her Patreon, and then she got off Patreon, but this came in the most recent Patreon package, and it's so nice. I love it. It's just a 12 centimeter ruler, and it's so hefty, and I love the color. So I threw it in here, but like, do I ever have a use for a ruler? Like, no, I don't. But anyway, that's all in here, and it's everything I need. I am trying to use up this whole bin of gel pens and refills that I have. So I am definitely working my way through them. That's why I've got so many different ones here. So this band, which was in there, I was using it to train this to stay closed because it was popping up a lot, especially right after I put the cloth on the cover. And I really want it without a closure, but it wasn't training well. Like, it wouldn't stay down. But now it kind of is, because I was thinking I was going to punch a hole here and here to actually put the string through and have it be like a permanent fixture on this. But I think I'm just gonna be able to use it naked, because that was my intended purpose. I don't want a string on it. I have such a thing about closures. I just don't want them. So that's everything about how I use the weeks. Hopefully this video will just serve as a good reference in the future as I kind of go through and chronicle how I use this in real time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.